There's a story of a tree called Momiji. Momiji was a Japanese maple, and this Japanese maple lived in a very beautiful park. And inside of the park were other very tall trees. There were pines and there were oaks. And the oaks and the pines were always bragging about how big they were and how sturdy they were and how they could just be the giants of this beautiful park. And well, the Japanese maple couldn't have any of those, one-ups or dibs. One day, a storm came along and it blew off all the leaves of the bigger trees all over the park. And when the storm was over, the only tree that had leaves on it was the Japanese maple. And they were just glowing in reds and orange colors. And because the Japanese maple's leaves and their limbs didn't spread so high to the sky like the other big trees, and the branches would sway in the wind, the tree survived. A little girl came into the park, and while the park was, decimated, this has been a big storm, she enjoyed viewing the leaves of Momiji, the Japanese maple. And she sat there under that tree, taking in the beauty of that much smaller tree in a smaller canopy. The moral of that story is, you don't have to be the biggest, the bravest, the strongest, or any of those things in order to bring beauty and a sense of connectedness to your environment. And that's certainly what a Japanese maple does. It's not the biggest tree in the forest. It's not the smallest either, but it certainly is one of the most beautiful ornamental specimens you'll ever see. And in the studio today, I've actually got one of my own plants, one of my own Japanese maples, sitting here next to me as I do this episode. I'm Jeff Packer, and welcome back to the Wood Channel. This is the place where you come in order to learn everything and all the things you ever thought you'd want to know about trees, especially. And in this episode of the Wood Channel, you're going to learn as much as you probably wanted to know about the Japanese maple. Now we're going to take a trip over to the Atlanta Botanical Garden, and we're going to visit their Japanese garden. That's right. The Atlanta Botanical Garden has one of the most beautiful Japanese gardens you'd ever want to see outside of Japan. And here's the kicker. The kicker is that even though the Japanese maple is referred to as the Japanese maple, it can also be found in all over Asia, including China, Korea, and many of the other Asian nations. But of course, you can see them all around the country as well, especially here in the Southeast, in Georgia. They're very common. They grow here very well. So you can see them everywhere, but they're absolutely beautiful specimens. But there's some very special ones in the garden over at the Atlanta Botanical Garden. So we're going to take a visit over there shortly. Hey, look, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, give a thumbs up, like the video. And if you find what we do here on the Wood Channel a benefit to you, tell a friend about the science of trees is being brought to you by this guy who really loves talking about trees and our environment especially. Again, welcome to the episode. Let's get started. Let's head over to the Atlanta Botanical Garden now.
The Atlanta Botanical Garden is simply one of my family's favorite places to visit. They've got some of the most beautiful plants you'd ever want to see, and the gardens are wonderful. Ticket pricing is very competitive, so come on down, check out the gardens. Waterfalls abound, beautiful foliage and vegetation is everywhere. My wife especially likes taking the strolls, and today we're in the Japanese garden, so come on by and join me as we begin this episode into the journey of the Japanese maple.
Now, if you ever get a chance to visit Osaka, Japan, there's a festival that happens every year. And the festival involves deep frying the leaves and the bark of the Japanese maple. It's called Momiji tempura. And it's an absolute delicacy. And it all involves the deep frying process of the Japanese maple. Who would have thought? As you can see, a Japanese maple isn't just a single tree. There's beautiful leaves, but it has multiple varieties of the Japanese maple. One such variety actually looks more like a shrub than a full-grown tree. And they can be cut into all sorts of bonsai shapes to give them a very unique and ornamental look to your landscape. This garden also features a number of boxwood plants and native Asian plants as well. I truly believe that God has created a planet where the plants on the planet actually act as our own medicine, and the Japanese maple is of no exception. In fact, it contains so many polyphenols and anti-inflammatory chemicals inside of this plant that it's used in traditional Asian medicine all the time. In fact, the leaves and the bark can be boiled down into a tea, which is good for curing things like rheumatoid arthritis and inflammation throughout the body. So as you can see, the Japanese maple is not just a pretty lawn ornament, it can also be used to heal the body. There are literally thousands of different varieties of plants, thousands of varieties of trees, and there's no possible way to know them all. One of the ways that I solve that problem is I use my plant identification tool. And on this particular episode, I'm going to show you how it actually works. Here's what we're going to do. You simply download the application, you come to the species that you want to identify, and you hit take the picture. Now, it's going to analyze the picture, detecting the leaves, and now it has identified the plant. This is the Japanese maple, and it'll tell you all different kinds of cool things about how to solve problems with the plant, when to fertilize it, how to repot it, lighting conditions, etc. It's a really cool tool to have, especially if you're out in nature a lot or you have problems with your plants at home. It'll help you solve those problems that you may have as well. Get the plant identification tool. I promise you, it's a game changer.
The scientific name for the Japanese maple is the Acer palmatum. The leaves are hand-shaped similar to your palm, and grafting is the preferred method of transplanting. The tree is an understory plant that tolerates indirect sunlight. The seeds look like helicopter blades and actually spread the plant seeds as they are carried by the wind. And keep in mind that the roots are very delicate and shallow, not requiring a lot of soil, but fertilizing and watering should be on your list of care points to keep the plant healthy and happy.
Thank you for joining me on this edition of the Wood Channel. I'm your host, Jeff Packer, and this is always the place where you can come to learn as much as you want to know about all the different types of wood species on this planet. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I invite you to like and subscribe and tell other people about the channel. Hey, there's this guy on YouTube. He talks about nothing but trees, and he actually loves trees like me. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you out in nature.